Jack is back. Okay, maybe Michigan fans aren't shouting from the tops of the Porcupine Mountains that Jack Tuttle is the savior of Michigan football for this 2024 season, but it raises a great question. What does the near future hold at quarterback for the Maize and Blue?
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
Sherrone Moore knew it was coming. He knew a tornado was ripping through Ann Arbor, Michigan, and his program was not going to look the same. He needed to hunker down in that storm cellar throughout January, throughout the middle of February, and now that we've kind of gotten past Valentine's Day and Jim Harbaugh's staff is taking shape out west in Los Angeles, he can now emerge from that storm cellar. And I think Sherrone Moore maybe looked around and said, there's maybe not as much damage here as I thought. I still have one of the best defenses in the Big Ten with guys like Mason Graham and Will Johnson and McCarthy Page and Rod Moore and Kenneth Grant still back on this defense. Looked around and I'm like, still got Donovan Edwards in the backfield. I got one of the best tight ends in the game in Colston Loveland over there. How about Samaj Morgan and Tyler Morris? But then maybe he looked a little bit harder and he saw the big damages. Offensive line and maybe the biggest crack in the foundation of them all, the quarterback position. It is the most important piece of the foundation of a football team. And there are big questions after the departure of J.J. McCarthy. Look, I'm not going to sit here on February 20th, 2024 and say, yeah, this is definitely going to happen for Michigan when we get to late August, when we get to September, when we kick off this season of change that will be the 2024 college football season. But I will do this. I will lay out some possibilities. I will lay out a possible path and a possible plan to see where Michigan may end up in 2024. So I talked about him at the top of the video. Talked about good old Jackie Tuttle, right? He's been around for a long time. This will be his 7th year of NCAA eligibility after receiving a medical redshirt exemption to return for one final season of college football. Look, when Jack Tuttle came out of high school, he was a 4-star guy. He was top 115, top 120, just out of the top 100, ran into Michael Penix Jr. and that good portion of time that he was able to have at Indiana. So he was kind of sitting behind him. Injuries kind of came into the fold, and he wasn't really able to get a lot of momentum at Indiana, and they're not exactly trotting out a lot of 4- and 5-star receivers, tight ends, offensive linemen, and running backs in Bloomington, Indiana. Maybe that will change under Curt Cignetti. But yeah, Jack just never really got his footing at Indiana. But then you look when he was able to get action last season. Now, given it's in garbage time, you're not maybe seeing the best teams look on defense, but he was efficient. He took care of the football, and he's got some scoot in his legs in the run game as well that maybe adds a little bit of dimension, kind of what we saw at times with J.J. McCarthy as well. When I look at Jack Tuttle, I see very 2021 Cade McNamara type of vibes for me, right? I see a guy that might throw for 1,700 to 2,000 yards, less than 20 touchdowns, but you're going to ask him to take care of the football. And I'm not sure if you're going to ask him to do a whole lot more than that. I believe Jack Tuttle can be that game manager type of guy that can really feed off of what's around him. Feed off of that running game. Going to need to restock that offensive line, but you've got a really good back in Donovan Edwards. You just be the point guard. I know we talked about Bo Nix being a point guard. Look, I don't think Jack Tuttle is going to be Bo Nix, but be a different kind of point guard. Really lean into that short passing. Really lean into that run game, just like Michigan was able to do in 2021 when they had a really good defense that year as well. Jack Tuttle, I believe, has the experience, and he might be the leader in the clubhouse of this massive quarterback battle. And it's not only massive because of the importance of the quarterback position, but it's massive because of the sheer amount of quarterbacks that will be battling out for this job as well. Let's talk about Alex Orji. You kind of saw him in that Ohio State game in run-specific packages from the quarterback position. This guy is a tank. They really utilized him in that Ohio State game, as I said, and in other portions of the season in quarterback run-specific packages. According to coaches, late in the season, they were very impressed at how Alex Orji was developing, right? And quarterbacking these scout teams, throwing it off his back foot for 50 or 60 yards down the field. Some people even showed comparisons to Jalen Milroe, kind of the same type of build, same type of body type, running ability, that kind of thing as well. But it looks and it appears from what I'm hearing that Alex Orji still has a ways to go to develop as a passer. How much are they going to lean on his running ability in them making a decision to him to possibly be the quarterback of this team? He's going to have to take some pretty big steps up, I think, for him to be leading this quarterback battle. But it would certainly be an interesting offense with him and Donovan Edwards in the backfield. That could be a really dynamite run game and certainly something to keep an eye on as well. And then you got guys in there that are going to be in the mix. Jadyn Davis, Warren. I think a lot of people like Denegal more than they like Warren right now. There's some projected depth charts that even have Denegal possibly as the guy that might come out on top in all of this as well. He was kind of a 3-star coming out as well. So, like I said, there's a lot of guys in the mix in this whole deal. I think the competition of all of these guys is going to hopefully end up in one guy really standing above the rest. Let's talk about true freshman Jadyn Davis. Mr. Football in the state of North Carolina. He was a 5-star, dropped down to a high 4-star, top 100, 150, wherever, whatever service you look at. This is going to be a very interesting time, especially right now as this video is coming out and as you guys are watching this right now. Because he was there during the Rose Bowl. He was there during the national championship, right? He's been through that championship push. He's observed it and he's seen it. Now it's that chance for him to take the next step forward. This is why enrolling early is so big. Okay, if he went at his high school, if he went there for his spring semester, he wouldn't have had that opportunity to be around the team during that push. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn the playbook, to be on campus, to participate in spring football. Whether he wins the job or not, I think we're going to find out a lot about Jadyn Davis. Okay, what is his work ethic? How much is he reading and learning the playbook? How does he compete with others? We're going to learn a lot. And I think this is going to be a key point in the development of Jadyn Davis really going forward. I think for him to win the job, I think he would have to wow everybody. Personally, when I look at his tape and then kind of when I see what Big Ten football is all about, he might be a year away. Right, I still think he needs a year of development, learning behind someone that's seen a lot of football. That could be Jack Tuttle in there as well. Now, you've got a crowded quarterback room. There's no question about it, and these guys are going to be battling it out during the spring. But there is a possibility, I might say even a strong possibility, that all of these guys don't start for Michigan next season. Because when Sherrone Moore and this coaching staff looks around at this team, they see a top 10 team. They see a top 15 team. They see a team that could possibly contend, maybe in the Big Ten. Maybe they don't get to the championship game. But maybe this is a team that wins a lot of games, that wins 9 games, that wins 10 games, and is in position to get into the college football playoffs. And then all bets are off from there once you get into the postseason. But they might see and they might look around at their quarterback room and say, I don't know if we have a guy that can lead us to that point. It is because of that reason I believe Michigan might be the buyer in the spring transfer portal quarterback market. I don't know who's going to be available in the spring. But you gotta figure out, you gotta have a hunch that someone of significance, someone is going to be able to step up in maybe a 1 or 2 year role, transfer into Michigan in the spring, and possibly be the starting quarterback of the Wolverines to take them back to a college football playoff, this time of the 12-team variety. Got to figure out this quarterback position. Okay, if Michigan does not have a suitable quarterback for 2024, it might be the difference of making the playoff and not making the college football playoff next season.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.